When I realized none of them were alive, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. 10 desks, 10 people, or at least what used to be people. They sat perfectly still under the cold white office lights, heads slightly tilted, eyes wide open, faces pale as paper. One man's mouth hung open, frozen mid-breath. The air smelled like dust, coffee, and something rotten. I whispered, "Hey, are you guys okay?" No one answered. Then, all at once, every computer screen in the room flickered on. Lines of red text started typing by themselves. "Welcome to the team, Jake." That was my name. I stumbled backward, slamming into a desk. My coffee spilled across the floor, and that's when I noticed the date on the nearest monitor. It wasn't today. It was from 3 years ago. Before I could move, one of the bodies twitched. The guy in the corner gray suit, sunken cheeks, turned his head toward me with a loud, cracking sound. His eyes were cloudy and hollow, but he smiled. And then, behind me, someone whispered in a voice that wasn't human, "You finally joined us." A week earlier, I was just another 25-year-old trying to get my life back together. My name's Jake Miller, and after my last job went under, I was desperate for work. I'd been scrolling through listings all night when I got a strange email from a company I didn't remember applying to Ecliptic Innovations. The message was simple. "We've been following your work. You're exactly what we need. Report to Building 13, downtown. Start date, Monday, 9:00 a.m. No interview, no paperwork. Just an offer letter and an NDA." At the time, I didn't think much of it. Startups were known for being weird. When Monday came, I found the building tucked between 2 abandoned warehouses. The sign out front was half faded, but the logo still shone silver. Inside, the place was spotless, too clean. The walls were white and bare, and the air felt like a hospital. The receptionist, Martha, was tall and pale, with hair pulled tight into a bun. She smiled when I walked in, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You must be Jake," she said, her voice flat. "Everyone's been expecting you." "Everyone?" I asked. "You mean my team?" She nodded. "3rd floor. They've been working all morning." When the elevator doors opened, I was hit by the smell of old coffee and metal. The entire floor was filled with neatly arranged desks and glowing monitors. 10 people sat typing in perfect rhythm, like machines synced to one heartbeat. I forced a grin. "Hey guys, I'm Jake, the new hire." Nothing, no wave, no hello, just the steady tap-tap-tap of keyboards. Martha placed a keycard on my desk. "Your workstation's by the window," she said softly, and walked away. The elevator shut behind her. I didn't hear it open again. The day dragged on. The tasks they assigned me made no sense, lines of code with strange commands I'd never seen before. Every time I turned around, I swore one of them had shifted positions slightly. At one point, I leaned toward the guy beside me, a man named David, and whispered, "So, how long have you worked here?" He didn't answer. But his computer screen blinked, and a message appeared. "Don't talk to them, Jake." I looked around. Every monitor now showed the same message. My heart pounded as I pushed my chair back. That's when all 10 of them stopped typing. Slowly, they turned their heads toward me at the exact same time, their necks creaking, their smiles stretching too wide. And then the lights went out. The lights snapped off, leaving the room swallowed in black. The hum of the computers stopped. For a moment, all I could hear was my heartbeat thudding in my ears. Then a faint scratching sound came from the far side of the office, like nails dragging along a desk. "Hello?" I whispered, even though I already knew no one living would answer. A flicker of blue light came from one of the monitors. On the screen, a reflection appeared mine, but behind me, I saw shapes moving, slowly, jerky, like puppets being pulled by invisible strings. I spun around. Nothing. The room was empty again. Then David, the man who sat next to me, suddenly stood up. His movement was stiff and unnatural, his neck tilted to one side with a crack. "You shouldn't have come, Jake," he said, his voice low and distorted, like a broken speaker. I stumbled backward. What are you talking about?" His mouth opened wider than it should have. "We're all still working." He stepped toward me, one foot dragging. I bolted for the door, slamming my shoulder against it, but it didn't budge. The door didn't even have a handle anymore, just a flat wall. When I turned back, every one of my coworkers was standing now, their heads twitching, their hands hanging limp. They were all staring straight at me. I grabbed a chair and swung it at the nearest window, but the glass didn't crack it, just rippled, like water. A distorted reflection of myself looked back, whispering words I couldn't understand. Then, just as suddenly as the lights had gone out, they flickered back on. Everyone was seated again, typing, like nothing happened. I stood there shaking, chest heaving, unsure if I'd imagined the whole thing. Slowly, I sat down at my desk. My computer screen was white, then a line of text appeared on it. "Don't leave. They'll notice." My heart dropped. I looked around. Everyone was still typing. But now I noticed I hit the floor hard. The air was thick, smelling of metal and burnt wires. My heart raced as I crawled backward, trying to see what had grabbed me. From under the server racks, a pale hand shot out gray, stiff veins black like ink. Then another, and another. Bodies started pulling themselves out from the dark, each one wearing the same gray badge with the NovaCore logo. Their faces were hollow, skin stretched tight over bone, eyes like fogged glass. "Jake," one of them croaked. Its voice echoed through the metal room. "You're one of us now." I scrambled to my feet, slamming my shoulder into a rack of servers. Sparks flew. The lights above flickered violently, turning the red glow into a strobe of chaos. For a split second, I saw their faces clearer. All of them were the same coworkers from the third floor, except now they were rotted. I ran down the corridor, my footsteps echoing in the endless metal hallway. Every door I passed had a sign on it. Project. Afterlife Human Data Retention. Do not restart the system. My mind was spinning. I just wanted out. I didn't care how. At the end of the hallway was a single door, bright white, humming softly. I pushed it open and froze. Inside was a small office, clean, modern, bright with one desk in the middle. On it sat a sleek black laptop already on. The screen showed a video feed of the third-floor office below, except the timestamp was from 3 years ago. I watched in horror as the screen showed 10 employees working normally, chatting, laughing, drinking coffee. Then the lights flickered. Every one of them collapsed at once, slamming their heads on their desks. The footage ended there. A folder appeared on the screen by itself. It was named Employee Revival Logs. I clicked it. The documents inside were dated months after the video. Each one had a name: Hannah, David, Claire, all my coworkers. Next to each name was... When I opened my eyes again, I wasn't sure if I was dead or dreaming. The room looked different, same office space, same desks, but everything had a faint blue glow, as if light was leaking from the walls themselves. The air buzzed softly, like static. I could still feel my heartbeat, but it didn't sound right. It was too steady, mechanical. "Jake," a voice called, soft and distorted. I turned and saw Hannah standing by her desk, looking alive again. Her eyes were clear, her smile warm. For a moment, relief rushed through me. "You're okay?" I asked. She nodded slowly. "We all are. The company fixed us." The others began to stand one by one. Their faces looked human again, but their movements were too smooth, too perfect. "You see," Hannah said, "no pain, no hunger, no fear. You'll learn to like it." I backed away. "What did they do to me?" David walked forward, his grin sharp. "They uploaded you. Your body's gone, Jake. You're part of Auralis Labs now." I ran to the window, but the city outside wasn't real anymore. The streets were just gray fog, the buildings flickering like digital ghosts. I pressed my hand against the glass, ripples spread across it like water. "This isn't real," I whispered. "It's better than real," Hannah said. "They needed someone with a pulse to stabilize us. You were chosen." The lights began to dim again, pulsing like a heartbeat. The computers turned on by themselves, screens flashing lines of code faster than I could read. A deep hum filled the room, vibrating the floor. Then the glass walls started to melt away, revealing rows of glowing pods. Inside each pod was a human body motionless, hooked to wires that ran into the floor. I walked closer, my stomach twisting. One of the pods had my face, my real face. I stared at it. My chest rose and fell slowly like I was sleeping. "No." I stepped back, shaking. "That's not possible." Hannah's voice echoed behind, soft but sharp. "You shouldn't fight it. The system doesn't like resistance." I turned to run, but the floor beneath me flickered and changed. The office vanished, replaced by an endless white hallway filled with the same glowing light. Doors stretched down both sides, each marked with a name. I saw Hannah, David, Claire, and at the very end, Jake Miller. I walked toward it slowly. My hands were trembling. As I reached for the handle, the door opened by itself. Inside was another office. My office, my desk, my laptop, my empty coffee cup. The monitors blinked to life, showing my reflection sitting in the chair. But my reflection was smiling. I whispered, "Who are you?" The reflection tilted its head. "I'm the part of you that accepted the offer." Before I could react, hands gold, smooth, glowing blue shot out from the screen and grabbed me, pulling me forward. I screamed, but my voice didn't sound human anymore. It was digital, distorted, lost in static. The screen went black. Then, one by one, the lights in the hallway shut off. Somewhere, a door creaked open, and that same soft voice whispered, "Another one hired. Welcome to Auralis Labs." Then silence, until the computers started typing again, in perfect unison. "Welcome to the team, Jake. If you enjoyed this story, remember never trust an email that promises your dream job. Hit subscribe, drop a like, and maybe, just maybe, I'll tell you what happens when Jake wakes up again."